Okay, so we have finished Wing of Bat, and now I want to do Eye of Newt, and I've already started. What you want to start with is this is just, and you choose what colour you want. You can choose either a greeny colour, a bluey marbly sort of colour, or an amber sort of colour, and you make little balls, tiny little balls. The next thing I did was to roll out a really thin piece of dark colour, black, dark brown, and all you do is you pop the bit onto your clay and roll it so that you get just a line of black. Now if you want, you could put a dot of black in the middle as well, so you could do that. And then you bake them. Like I said, this isn't realistic, it just has to look okay, and I must admit they do look a little bit like frog spawn in the jar. Oh, this one's gone a bit sticky, but that's okay. Now I think I made about 50 of these and baked them. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so next, now I thought about all the different ways. If you have clear resin, use clear resin. I don't have clear resin. And I thought of everything I could use, glue and everything, but I don't know how it's going to react with the polymer clay. So I decided not to use it. I know that if you use nail varnish, the polymer clay reacts with the nail varnish and it goes, the polymer clay will go sticky and horrible. So I'm using a tiny glass bottle. You could use anything, even a plastic one, because the baking is so slow, it should be fine at such a low heat. So I've actually used liquid Fimo in the bottom. Now I buy this, I think it's 2 bottles for £11. If you look online, you can get it relatively cheaply and you don't need a great deal. So I've glooped a bit in the bottom and I'm popping in my eyes. Now I put about a teaspoon or so in the bottom. It wasn't a lot. I'm just putting the eyes on top. And I baked it on the foil because I didn't mind if there was a shiny bit. Basically, if you're cooking baking clay and it's a larger piece of clay, you don't want to bake it on foil because where the clay touches the foil, you get a shiny bit. If you want to reduce that and don't have that shiny bit, if you use a foil tray, fair enough, but then line it with a bit of baking paper, greaseproof baking paper, and that will stop you getting that shiny bit. So that's all my eyes in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm just turning them with this in there so that the little black bits, most of them are facing outwards, so you can see the little black lines. Now, like I said before, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't, and I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop those in there as well. I might as well, even though I haven't baked them. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is bake this again. Now it's going to have to be baked for quite a while because there is a lot in there. But I'm going to bake this and see how it turns out. I was going to have just like make it up with glue and have a few sort of suspended there, but it kind of, I knew it wouldn't work out. So it's just a matter of turning them around so that you can see some of the eyeball bits that you've made. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a bit of white or black clay in the center of this and push everything out. That might work. I'm going to bake that and see how it turns out. Oh, need a few more turned round there. So when I finish baking, I will come back and show you how it looks. Yep. Right, I'm going to stop flapping around now and I'm going to bake it. So I will be back in a bit. Okay, so it's been through the oven, probably not as clear as I would like, which means it probably needs a little bit more baking. And for some reason it all went up one side, but that's okay. So I have Newt. Just needs the lid on it and a little label, and then we're done.